Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be my fall TBR. So I have been selecting 15 books for every seasonal change we've gone through, which is like a 3-month time span I give myself to read those 15 books. I did not do very well on my summer one just because I hit a slump like right at the beginning of summer. And then once I got out of it, I just wanted to read books that I wanted to read, not books that I was being told to read. So I didn't read as many of those as I would have liked, but I have selected 15 new books for the months of September, October, November, our Burr months. I'm very excited to get to read these. I did pick a variety: romance, thriller, horror, fantasy, and then just like some random genres as well. So we will go through those really quickly, and then you can follow along over the next few months to see which of these I do end up reading. I don't know how many I'm going to get to in the month of September because I have high hopes to get through a lot of series books, and none of these are series that I've already started. So they'll probably be more like October, November books. But who knows? I could just end up mood reading one of them at some point in September too. So without me yapping anymore, let me know what books you plan on reading this fall, what's on your fall TBR, and then let me know obviously about any of the books we're about to talk about, if you've read them, if you want to read them, your thoughts, feelings. All of that, let me know down in the comments. And without further ado, let's get into it. So since the summer is usually a very heavy romance season for me, I've only chosen 3 romance books for this TBR. The first is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. This, I believe, is a surprise pregnancy trope book. There's also disability representation. I've been wanting to read this for quite some time, so I figured might as well throw it on the TBR. I don't know that it's necessarily fall, but the vibe just kind of gives fall to me, so I've been wanting to read it, and I have the other one as well, so I do want to get to this as soon as possible. Next, I have Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. This is the first book in her Hoops series. I don't know much about this at all. I have all 3 books. It's a completed trilogy. So it looks like they meet each other when they're in college, final semester of college, at a sports bar, have a connection, but they go their separate ways because he's poised to go for the NBA draft, and she belongs to another man, basketball's golden boy, and his longtime rival. So they go their separate ways, and then he eventually re-enters her life, and I guess she's going through some dark stuff when that happens, so he's gonna hopefully help her through that. I've never read one of her books. I really am excited to. I've heard a lot of good things, and I figured it's a good sports romance to get into in the fall. And then I have Enigma by Rue Nix. I picked this up at the beach recently when I was there, and it just screams fall. It's a dark romance. I think it's dark academia romance. I don't know if it's professor student. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that this girl goes to this university, academy, whatever they're gonna call it, to find out what happened to her sister, and like falls for this guy while she's there trying to solve that mystery, and he may or may not be involved. I don't know, but I've never read a Rue Nix book either, so this will be another new author for me. Hannah Bonham Young is technically a new author for me too to read. I've listened to a few of her audiobooks, but I've never read one of her books physically. So it's just the season for new authors for me. I have been very intrigued about Gothic Hannah, but I picked this up right when it came out, and I haven't got a chance to read it yet. So I figure we'll start here, and then if I like her writing, we'll go from there. All right, and now some thriller mystery books. The first is Love Letters to a Serial Killer by Tasha Coriel. I think this is about a girl who ends up writing to a serial killer an alleged serial killer that's in jail, and he ends up getting acquitted, but then as he comes out, she's starting to question like if he really should have been released, and they have like a relationship and everything. It seems like kind of crazy, kind of out there, weird, and I don't know, like the title got me, the concept got me. I don't know how well rated it is, but Sally Hepworth is on the back saying compulsive, twisted, and darkly funny. So I love a good like satirically dark funny book, which is why I loved the Ruinous Love trilogy. Next, I have a Stephen King book because my fall TBR, a winter TBR even, won't be complete without a Stephen King novel. This is Misery. I've been really wanting to read this since I purchased this, and it is about a writer who is basically held hostage in their cabin by their caretaker until they finish this novel. That's all I really know, and I really only know that based on movie. I've never seen the movie, but my parents have, and they've talked about it. So I don't like to watch his adaptations before I've read the books. I really don't even like to watch them after because I've never really enjoyed one. but I love his books and they're just perfect for the fall and winter. And like this book, this gives November. This will probably be like a November read. And then Miss Holly Jackson's newest release, couldn't miss the opportunity to put this on the TBR, called Not Quite Dead Yet. And for what I understand of this book, this girl is injured and basically is being told she's going to die and has like a week before what they think is going to take her happens. And she's trying to solve she's trying to solve her own murder before it's actually happened almost. So interesting concept. I did just see someone rate the audiobook terribly on Goodreads, but I don't like to listen to audiobooks of thrillers. I like to kind of immerse myself in them physically. So hopefully her debut as an adult novelist isn't as bad as that rating was, but I'm still very excited to read it. Let's just put it that way. I'm hoping I get to start some new series in the fall because I'm going to try to finish a lot of series in September that I can. So next few books are the beginning of series. The first is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. I'm hoping to finish A Curse Carved in Bone, which is the second in the saga of the Unfated duology, which is also by Danielle L. Jensen, and I've been waiting to finish that before I get into this, I believe, going to be 6-book series. 5 books are out now. I've heard great things about this. I don't know too much about the plot other than I think it's enemies to lovers, and it follows this like princess warrior person. But I don't really want to know too much. I really knew nothing about her other books going in, and I really enjoyed it, so this is the first fantasy. I also have The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle. I believe this is also enemies to lovers. This is, I think, a YA novel, though, and it came out last fall. I actually bought it at the beach last fall, so I'm hoping I get to read it this fall. And it was a book of the month option too, but I didn't select it for that. So this says, in the dark underbelly of a beautiful city, 2 rival gang members are pitted against each other in a deadly game of duty and revenge in which the most dangerous mistake is falling in love. I don't know how many books is going to be in the series, but I do know that it is the beginning of a series, and I think the next book might be coming out soon. I'd have to check my list, but I believe it is. Another one that is the beginning of a series, and I believe the second book, The Bonds of Hercules, is coming out soon. I have Blood of Hercules by Jasmine Moss, another book I bought at the beach, but this was this past spring, a special edition, couldn't pass it up. Again, I don't know too much about this, other than, like, it follows this, like, badass female warrior that's attending this academy. So it says she undergoes the most harrowing test of all time to see if she has what it takes to be an immortal. There are just a few problems. Achilles and Petro are my scary mentors. Chiron, the ferryman of death, and Augustus, the son of war, are my terrifying professors, and I'm also pretty sure either someone's stalking me everywhere I go or my sanity's slipping, and I have a bad feeling both are true. I think this is also dark romance fantasy, so I'm very excited for this one. I've heard great things about it, and I also think that it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I can read it, I think. I can read it on my Kindle, which may be a good option for October when I go to the beach. Cannot wait to pick that TBR. And then I have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. This is a vampire sapphic fantasy romance that follows, I think, 3 generations of vampires throughout, like, centuries. And that's all I know. And that's all I want to know. I've heard fantastic things about this. I am not the biggest V.E. Schwab fan. I read this Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I didn't hate the book, but it was like a 3-star read for me. It was nothing outstanding. And I did try to read her Darker Shades of Magic series and just could not get into the first book. I didn't like DNF it in the point that I'm never going to go back to it. I think I was just reading it at the wrong time. It was an interesting concept. I could eventually really enjoy it, but I've heard great things about this, and I'm hoping that this kind of breaks that stride for me with her, and maybe I really do enjoy this one, but we'll find out. The edition is gorgeous, so that's why I'm hoping I like it, because I don't want to have to get rid of this book. So that's the last fantasy. I have one classic I'm going to be putting on the TBR, and that is Dracula by Bram Stoker. This I bought last year when I bought Frankenstein. I did end up reading Frankenstein last year, and I've been saving this for the month of October. This year, I'm hoping that this goes better than Frankenstein. I really did not enjoy that book. It was very dry, very boring. Not much happened. Hoping Dracula is a little different. It is twice the length, so I'm very much hoping that this is not the same experience. But I'll probably just read this throughout the month of October. Classics are a little bit harder for me to get through just because of how they're written. Obviously, they're not written in a way that we're used to reading. But yeah, excited to get into that. And that's the only classic I have left that I haven't read. So I don't have a lot of classics because I'm not the type of person that thinks that you need to read classics to be a reader. I think you can read whatever you want, and I just don't love them, so I don't spend my money on them. I don't read them. but I am interested enough in those two that I bought them. And now some general fiction, historical fiction. I have Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Malors. I believe this is like kind of a toxic, strange romance about these two people with, I believe, an age gap that get married impulsively and then try to like deal with a lot of different things. I believe there's a lot of topics covered in this book. I've never read a Coco Malors book. Looking forward to this one, and then I do want to read Blue Sisters by her as well, but was waiting for that to be out on paperback, so that's why I picked up this one first. I have Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. There was actually a follower on here that told me that this was one of their favorite books they've read, and I picked it up. I think this has been like re-released too recently in like a rainbow cover that's stunning, but I just picked this copy up at Target a few months ago, and it's kind of like a modern day Charles Dickens, David Copperfield novel, talking about like inequality and like children that grow up with like wanting more than like others and stuff like that. It's all I really know, but it seems like a very hard-hitting novel. It's a Pulitzer Prize winning novel, so I'm very excited to give it a shot. It is a chunky book though. It is over 500 pages long. And it is not a romance over 500 pages long. So this will take me some time to get through. We'll see. Sometimes books I get through a lot faster than I think. I also have Beartown by Frederick Bachman. This is a series I wanted to finish by the end of the year, so I'm hoping I can do like October, November, December, one of each, read one book each month. I know a little bit about this just based on hearing what people have said, but it's about a town that kind of revolves around hockey. Something happens that shocks everybody and changes the way that things are perceived, I think, in the town. I'm not 100% sure what the thing that happens is. I have an idea based on hearing people talk about it, but I don't want to be the one that spoils that. So, yeah, I've heard it's extremely emotional. So we'll see. I hopefully will be in a better mood for that in the fall. I don't like to read really sad books in the summer. And then finally I have The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna, which takes place in the 20s and the 30s, and it is about like the Great Depression era, I believe. Historical fiction. I love Kristen Hanna. We all know I love Kristen Hanna. And I have a few of her books, but this one I've had, I think, the longest and not read, so I threw this one on the fall TBR. It also just kind of has fall vibes, right? Is this the one that takes place? No, this takes place on the Great Plains. What's the one? The Great Alone, I think, is the one that takes place in Alaska. I don't have that one. So we'll see if I enjoy that, like I have all of her other books. So that is the 15 books I will be reading, hopefully, this fall. At least going to be prioritizing trying to read. Again, let me know in the comments what books you're looking forward to reading in the fall. By the end of the year, I do plan on releasing in the next month or so a video about the books that I want to read before the end of the year. But a lot of that depends on what happens in the month of September. So I'm trying to put that off until the end of the year because I do have a list and a lot of them are potential reads for September. So once we get closer to the end of September and I have an idea of what I will have read and not read by the end of that month, then I will release that. I'll also be releasing vlogs reading through the series and the books that I'm trying to read through this month. So keep an eye out for those. Let me know what types of videos you guys like to see. I've been focusing mainly on vlogs just because sometimes the other stuff just seems to be too much and I'm trying to get back in my groove. So I'm just trying to vlog what I'm reading to get back into posting. So thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far in the video, and I hope to see you all in the next one.